and welcome to BSB Must Reads, where we tell you what you must be reading. And today we have new author Nan Campbell. Hi, Nan.
Hi.
You've written The Rules of Forever, and I'm super excited to find out what these rules are because I want to live forever, and that's what the book's about, right?
Not quite. It's about a forever relationship that that there are a couple of rules that my characters have to observe for a little while before they get there.
I see. Okay, so we're not living forever, but we're going to love forever.
Absolutely, yes.
Which makes living worth it, right?
Yeah, I would say so, definitely.
Awesome. So this is your first book and you're new with BSB.
Yes.
But I love this book because it contains so many tropes and elements that readers are used to seeing in their books, right? You have a reunion romance, you have a friends with benefits, we're just going to keep it casual kind of situation. And so that tells me that you are a romance novel reader.
I absolutely am. And I'm a huge fan of so many BSB authors. There are just too many of them to count that I just love reading them all. And contemporary romance is my absolute favorite, but I will read pretty much anything. And yes, I am somebody who likes to observe those tropes and utilize them in interesting ways, hopefully. And I am just always in the frame of mind for looking for a good, fun, romantic story. I love romantic comedy movies. And part of the reason why I wrote this book is because there aren't that many lesbian romantic comedies. And let's face it, the lesbian movies that do get made, pretty often they have a downer of an ending. So I want my happily ever afters. I want that every single time for any of the lesbians I see or read about.
Awesome. Well, that is great. I'm totally on board with everything you just said. I can't wait to hear your reading. So I'm going to disappear and you are going to take the reins, Nan Campbell.
So I wrote this book because like I said, I was looking for happily ever afters and I enjoy happily ever afters and I wanted my characters to have a happily ever after. So this book is The Rules of Forever. I can't believe I'm holding a copy of a book that I wrote in my hands, which is amazing. And it's about two women, Kara and Lauren, who meet each other at their 10-year reunion. And they didn't really know each other too well at school, but once they see each other at this reunion, sparks start to fly. And the scene I'm going to read from is at the high school reunion. There was a commotion out in the vestibule. Lauren could hear a chant rising in volume and enthusiasm. PBSG, repeated over and over and getting louder. Instantly, Lauren was hurtled back in time to victory on the field hockey pitch and boisterous celebrations in the locker room and on the away bus. It was all coming back to her now. We're mighty, we're crazy, we're never ever lazy. We'll beat you, defeat you, we'll even try to eat you. Go Beavers! Lauren chuckled in remembrance. The Perry Bidwell Beavers. Unreal. Sasha had already gotten up and scurried toward the crowd of women. Lauren followed at a more sedate pace, but was quickly embraced by her former classmates as they formed a ring around the two main chanters. Lisa Jankowski and Kara Tallarico stood with their hands cupped like megaphones and bellowed the field hockey cheer toward the ceiling. Lisa had a faded PBSG sweatshirt on over her dress, but Kara appeared to be wearing her actual high school uniform. And boy, did she make it look good. Lauren suddenly felt her heart pounding. Everything went a little blurry around the edges as she beheld the magnificence of Kara Tallarico in a 10-year-old school uniform, cheering away, eyes closed and smiling with joy. The navy blue blazer with the school insignia over the left breast was too tight to button and left a few inches above her wrists exposed. The pleated plaid skirt would not have met regulations. It rode very high across Kara's thighs. Her white blouse had a few buttons undone at the top and framed the loosely knotted green polyester necktie all girls were supposed to wear. And Kara's glossy dark curls fell around her face in wild disarray, a feature Lauren felt sure she should have remembered from school. Her eyes were still drawn to Kara, but her surroundings snapped back into focus as the cheer devolved into clapping and laughing and the new chant of "Beavers, beavers, beavers." Lauren laughed at the incongruity of a bunch of grown women hooting and hollering like they were at a wrestling match, nostalgia and pride shining in their faces. As Sasha returned to Lauren's side, she wiped tears of laughter from her eyes. "I'm so proud to be a beaver." Lauren smiled. "Me too." They turned toward the tapping on a microphone coming from the dais. Their head of school, Ms. Irwell, called them to attention as she had each day with morning announcements. "Ladies of Perry Bidwell School for Girls, good evening," she said. "Welcome back. We're happy to see you here on our hallowed grounds again. You do us much credit as you carry out into the world the values that Lucia Perry and Penelope Bidwell began instilling in young women in 1906. It is with great satisfaction that I report the successes of your esteemed class, with members going into medicine, law, education, and government. We even have a representative in one of our greatest cultural institutions, the Metropolitan Museum of Art." Ms. Irwell caught Lauren's eye, and Lauren wondered how she knew about her new post. "The administration and staff hope you have a wonderful evening. I'm told your valedictorian is not present, but perhaps your salutatorian, Kara Tallarico, would like to say a few words." "Woohoo, Kara, speech!" Lisa Jankowski cried out and good-naturedly pushed her forward. Kara mounted the dais and took the microphone from Ms. Irwell. "Hello, fellow beavers." Kara flashed a smile at the laugh she received. "I had to be convinced to come tonight, and although I've just arrived, I'm really glad I'm here." Lauren was riveted by Kara and attempted to reconcile the earnest grind she vaguely remembered from 10 years ago with this gorgeous drink of water with a head of hair that should be in shampoo commercials. Her smile was wide and welcoming, her brown eyes warm and lively. And the uniform. Lauren didn't know what it said about her that she was halfway to lusting after a woman who looked ready for algebra class. It felt a little shameful, but she couldn't deny it. Sasha nudged her. "Looks like you haven't changed," she whispered. "Still a beaver hound. Close your mouth, it'll stop the drooling." "Shut up, Sash, I'm trying to listen here." If only Sasha knew how much Lauren had changed from the sexually free teenager she had been. Nevertheless, Lauren tried to compose her features into a less thirsty attitude. Kara Tallarico had awakened impulses she had thought long dead and buried by her last relationship. Maybe she should resurrect her high school self. What was it her brother said? Find a nice girl, etc. Move on. The more she watched Kara Tallarico, the better that idea sounded.
Oh, something tells me there's going to be no moving on in this book.
I don't know about that. It doesn't seem likely, does it?
I also can't believe that you chanted "beavers, beavers, beavers" twice with a straight face.
Hey, there can never be too many beavers.
That's great. I love it.
Thank you.
So you are also a high school teacher.
Yes.
And you're a New Yorker.
And a New Yorker, yes.
So how much did you draw on your own experience when you wrote Kara and The Rules Are Forever?
Well, there are two schools in the book. There's the school that my two main characters went to, which is a private all-girls school, and there is a high school in the Bronx where one of my main characters teaches. I have no experience with all-girls private high schools, but I have a lot of experience with high schools in the Bronx because that's where I taught. And I just thought that a girls' school would be interesting as a setting for a meeting place for my two characters. And yes, I did draw a lot on my experience for my Bronx classroom scenes.
For sure. Well, I went to an all-girls school, not private Catholic, which is kind of better almost for. And yeah, I can tell you, great setting for beavers.
Yes, that's what I thought too.
Sure. So this is your first book, and I'm always curious to know what prompted you to sit down and be like, okay, today is the day I'm going to write a book. Was that like one decision that you made, all in one fell swoop, or did it happen in little bits over time? What started it for you?
Well, I actually started this book now almost 3 years ago, and I just had an idea, and I had written some things earlier in life, some fan fiction a long time ago. So I kind of knew that I had it in me to write, but I very specifically decided that I wanted to write a novel, and this idea had come to me, so I just started writing. And it when I first started writing, it just kind of became very alive in my mind, to the point where I would, my students would be taking a test and I would be writing things down that I was thinking about for the book while they were supposed to be taking their test, and I was supposed to be watching them take their test. So once the idea took hold, it really just it wanted to be written, and that's I just had to follow that.
For sure. So where did the idea come from? Was it, I mean, some authors are like, I dreamt it, or I was in the shower and, they came to me. Did your idea come to you in a specific way? Was there something that inspired it?
Well, I figured it would be interesting to have a character who was a New York City teacher. And I love art, and I often go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I live on the Upper East Side. It's not that far away from me. So that also seemed kind of a natural thing that I could do a lot of research about and talk about in kind of a realistic way. But the idea of the girls' school and the student and the two characters meeting there, my wife actually went to an all-girls school, and whenever she gets together with her high school friends, I marvel at how accomplished they all are. They all have like really interesting careers, and they're just really interesting people. And I figured that, you know, that must be the same in probably many girls' schools. And they have this kind of camaraderie that I didn't have in my high school. I mean, I had it among my group of friends, but it seems like she's still friends with all of her classmates. And it's really inspiring and interesting to see.
Well, that sounds awesome. I love it so much when authors imbue their books with their own experiences, because it just makes it so unique and gives it such a genuine voice. Thank you so much, Nan Campbell, for spending time with us today. And please do check out Nan's debut novel. If you like contemporary romances, you are going to love this one. It is out today, September 1st, on the Bold Strokes Books website, and everywhere good books are sold September 13th.